I'm a dreamer. I've always been a dreamer. I am one of the children of the 60s, one of those who saw wrong and believed that we could make a difference. We dared dream that we could rise above our humble beginnings. We dared dream that African Americans would be acknowledged as first-class citizens, enjoying the same civil rights and freedoms as white Americans. And yes, we dared to dream that one day, maybe in our lifetime, a black man could be elected president of the United States. 1961, Washington, D.C., 13 people, 6 whites, 7 blacks, boarded 2 buses traveling south to defy the segregation laws. We were called the Freedom Riders. I was arrested in Winsboro, South Carolina for using a white-only restroom. Later that evening, the police took me out of jail and delivered me to a waiting Klan mob. I was ordered out of that car by a police officer at gunpoint, and I ran for my life. And Dr. Williams, Usain Bolt couldn't have caught me then. I rejoined the Freedom Riders in Atlanta, where we were prepared to go into Anniston and Birmingham, Alabama. The Klan attacked that bus. They firebombed that particular bus, and as the bus was burning, they held the door shut so that we could not get out. The Klansmen were attempting to burn us alive just because we sat in the front of the bus and we were exercising what we thought were our rights for dignity and respect. The only way we got off of that bus as it was burning was the fuel tank in the back of the bus blew up, and the men who were holding it moved away. It was at that particular moment as I sat on that bus, and in just a few minutes, the bus was fully engulfed in flame, and I had to make a decision, like everyone else. If I got off of that bus, I knew I was going to be beaten to death by the mob outside. If I stayed on the bus, I was going to meet my death in flame. I thought, erroneously, that if I simply took a deep breath and I breathed in the smoke, that it would render me unconscious, and that's the way I was going to die. So, ladies and gentlemen, for all practical purposes, I had decided to commit suicide that day. I was only 19 years old. The Freedom Rides, the anti-segregation movement, made national and worldwide headlines. The Americans with justice and goodwill in their hearts were ashamed at what they saw on the evening news or read in the newspaper concerning the firebombing of the Freedom Riders bus. And the Freedom Rides caused Americans of goodwill to do some real soul searching. Within days after the attempts on our lives, there were students, ministers, professional and ordinary citizens from Nashville, Tennessee to New Orleans and all across the country who got on buses and traveled to Birmingham and to Montgomery to continue that freedom ride. But as I said, we were daring, and we dared greatly. Our victory came in August of 1961 when the ICC outlawed racial discrimination in interstate travel aboard buses, trains, and planes. I am proud of the role that I played in hoping to bring about changes in this country. Always, I remember that a man will stand tall against injustice. When I boarded that bus in May 1961, I was in search of the elusive American dream. It was my American dream. The dream that states that every American has a right to be expected to be treated with dignity and respect. Today, I am living the American dream. Well, you see, in 1961 in North Carolina, I was refused service at a McDonald's restaurant and the police was called. Today, my wife and I own a total of 7 McDonald's restaurants. What a time to live in America. In Atlanta, 1966, a McDonald's restaurant refused to hire me as a part-time cashier. In 1987, I bought that McDonald's restaurant. In 1999, I built the first of my 4 Marriott hotels. And I'll never forget the first Marriott Hotel Owners Convention that I had attended. And even though it was the first hotel that I had built, I was slated to get an award from Marriott for an excellent job of opening that hotel. And I was in this room, and I was the only black hotel owner there. So I got up to go out to the lobby for something, and I passed a man, and he reached out and grabbed my arm and said, "When you come back, bring me a pitcher of water." The people sitting there at the table with me were horrified. Didn't say anything. So when I came back, and of course they called my name to come up and receive the award, and I went up to get the award, and when I was coming back, I passed this table and said, "Listen, I'm sorry, I forgot to get your water, but do you still want it now?" Some things and some attitudes never change. This old Freedom Rider, the bus is pulling into the station for me, and it's time for me to get off. Thank you.